Okay, so I'm back doing another Further Thoughts video. This time I'm going to be doing one on Alan Moore's Watchmen. Since I felt like I didn't really go into as much as I wanted to in that video, I'm just going to talk a little more about that. But watch that one first, and then watch this one after it. This one's just going to go a little more into the history behind it and the context. So I'm just going to rush right into it. So in the 80s, there was kind of this renaissance of comics when they were being starting to develop more and starting to be taken seriously. And Watchmen was probably the main comic to make. People realized that comics were more than kid stuff or trash, and it was definitely kind of at the forefront of pushing comics into more experimental and complex directions. And it definitely shows in the writing. Moore is a very talented writer. He's just as good as anybody who just writes straight prose, if not better, because he's working in a medium that even still today is limitless in its potential and its possibilities. Neil Gaiman once said something like, the novel is a form that's been around for 2,000 years, but I like writing comics because I'm still like exploring untamed territory here. And you can see the comics being pushed, as a medium being pushed further in Watchmen in Alan Moore's writing of it. He does specific things that you can only do in comics. He does specific things with angles of the panels and the layout that you can't do in cinema or in novels or any other kind of visual art form. He's doing things exclusively for comics. And the seriousness of the tone of the story, while at the same time being about superheroes in tights fighting crime and saving the world, but with an adult edge, with adult tone, with adult themes, is, definitely the thing, along with some other things coming at that time, like Frank Miller's work, especially with his Batman stuff, that is really pushing these stories into a zenith, and which would even further be expanded and explored in the 90s, especially with Neil Gaiman's Sandman series. Jesus. They're definitely for grown-ups. They're definitely mature. They're definitely dark and edgy, but not like in a teenage angsty way. They're sophisticated. And Watchmen is no less sophisticated. He writes it with the grace of a prose novelist, but with the imagination and visual flair of a painter, of a grand muralist. And Dave Gibbons' artwork is, up to par. Like, Dave Gibbons is the artist to bring Moore's writing to life, and he does it perfectly in Watchmen. And it's one of the few things, especially in comics, I feel like deserves the hype it gets. So many things I feel is hyped as hell and rarely deserve it, but Watchmen is definitely one of those things that I honestly agree with. Like, yes, this makes sense. This is deservedly so. So, if my original video wasn't enough incentive to go read Watchmen, hopefully this one will definitely push you into reading it, and hopefully you'll find it in a bookstore or at a comic shop and pick it up and just explore it for yourself. Because it's one of those novels, prose or otherwise, or comics or whatever, that reading it for the first time is an adventure and is an experience. So definitely check it out. It's fantastic. And hopefully it will open you guys up to reading more of Alan Moore the way it did me. So that's it for now, and I'll probably be back soon with another video.